be accepted as presented. If we can get a motion. Motion is made by Tracy, second by
Aye, Jeannie.
Jeannie. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Any declarations of interest this evening? None. Delegations presentations, there are none. Minutes from the previous meeting, again, they were in the package. Recommendation that the minutes dated December 14th, 2021 be accepted as presented. Can I get a mover?
I'll move that they're accepted.
Okay. Motion made by Jeannie and seconded by Tracy. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Committee reports, there are none that I know of. So we'll jump right to 7, staff updates. First on the list would be our Digital Main Street update, which would be Elizabeth.
I'll just share my screen first. If the host could, I think it says it's disabled right now, so I'm not able to share.
You'll be good to go.
Thank you. Hopefully everyone can see that. I hope it loaded for you. So just a quick overview. I'm going to talk about the grant processing progress, the shop here update, a marketing update. I did a December 2021 marketing report, so I'll share that with you. The services we're now offering and our webinars as well. So this update is from December. So 400 applications were submitted that were over the available grant funds. They're hoping to receive more grant funds in the new year. I haven't heard anything yet, but I think I will likely hear on Thursday. So additional applications will move forward in the order of submission after the ones in the review stage have been declined, if they get declined. They received 3,003 applications, 1,741 have been paid out, and 442 are still in that review stage. But I'm sure more of them have moved forward now that we're in a new month. For Shop Here, 7 businesses have been contacted regarding the program, and 3 are currently enrolled. And we actually have one that has completed it and has her website fully completed. I don't think it's live yet, but that should be happening in the next couple weeks, I would imagine. For the marketing update, Facebook, we have 29 page likes now, and 2 of those were new in December. For Instagram, we now have 67 followers, 15 new in December. And for YouTube, we have 6 subscribers with 4 new ones in December. For Facebook, we had 6,008 views across all of our posts for the month of December, with 300 engagements, giving us an engagement rate of 5%. For Instagram, we had 269 views, 52 engagements, and just over 19% for our engagement rate. For YouTube, I added 4 new videos in December. So now we have 9 videos total. 147 total views and 6 subscribers, as I mentioned. Our YouTube videos include the webinar recordings. We record every webinar that we do, and I edit and upload it to there. I also started doing tutorials. So I cut pieces of the webinar recordings into shorter tutorials to hopefully boost our views. I'd rather watch a 2-minute video than a 55-minute video if I just needed something quick. So I thought that would help. And we also have an informative video about Digital Main Street programs. So our totals, this is for Facebook and Instagram for the month of December. So total views were 6,277 and 352 total engagements, giving us an overall rate of 6%. I hope to boost that up to 10 in the next coming couple months. So hopefully we can do that. And we now have 96 followers across both platforms. Moving on to the services. So I'm moving into more of a digital support role now that the grant applications have closed. So we'll be doing some consulting with digital audits, audit follow-ups, branding audits, social media audits, things like that. I've done one so far, and I actually got a request today for another. So hopefully we'll be getting some more requests soon. We'll also offer assistance with videos, website help, setting up Google My Business, Google 360, social media ads, pretty much anything digital. And then for social media, we have help and advice, help making content calendars, scheduling app assistance, or scheduling app recommendations if you don't have one already. Online training as well. This is through our webinars and YouTube videos. For our upcoming webinars, we have From Etsy to Empire, which is tomorrow at 11 a.m. A friend of mine, Jenna from the Silk Labs, she is going to talk to us about her online growth. She has 17,000 followers on Instagram and over 100,000 on TikTok. So we're very excited to have her. I think she's going to have a lot to offer our local businesses. The next one is Branding 101. This is on January 26th, and this is going to go over, online branding, offline branding, how to be consistent, all of those things. We also have Leveling Up with Square, February 9th at 11. This is going to talk about the Square point of sale system and also the Square websites that work together with the point of sale system. And we also have our 3 digital transformations webinar, which will feature local businesses that did our digital Main Street program, and that is on February 23rd. So that is my update. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Tracy? You're muted, Tracy.
I
There you
know,
go.
sorry. Elizabeth, what's the difference between a view and an engagement?
A view is just like they saw it on their feed, and then an engagement would be a like or a comment or a share. So if they interacted with the post, it's an engagement, but if they just saw it pop up and just scrolled on past us, then that would just be a view.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions for Elizabeth? I see none. Again, thank you very much, Elizabeth. There's good information in there, and I just changed your subscriber thing to 7, just so you know.
Thank you.
All right. So, Dana.
Sorry, thanks, Kevin. Just one quick follow-up question, more for the benefit of those who might be watching, Elizabeth. So as far as the consulting services go, they're open to any business located in our region?
Yeah, any business in Prescott, Augusta, or Edwardsburg Cardinal, and it's free. So
Perfect, thank you.
All righty. Anybody else? If nothing, we shall move along to B, BIA Coordinator update, and that will all go over to Justin. I'm sure he's got all kinds of stuff to say today.
Thank you, Kevin. So I am just going to pull up my presentation here. I'm going to go semi-quickly through 2 topics, the passport wrap-up and the Ontario by Bike, and then I'll take a little bit deeper look into a BIA board refresher, because I know we have quite a few new members, so I thought we'd just go over some of the BIA basics and details so everyone has them front of mind. So the passport program, we actually wrapped that up today by delivering the grand prizes out. We ended up with 24 participating locations throughout Prescott. 18 were in the BIA. These were places where people could get their passport stamped, pick them up, make purchases in most of the locations, and take part in that program. We distributed about 1,000 passports total, went out to individuals. Over 200 completed passports made their way back in as part. So that's people that had 5 stamps, each stamp being $5 at least of a purchase. I imagine there were very few $5 purchase stamps, but that was the minimum there. So a fairly substantial impact, I would say, through those 200 completed passports, and I'm sure quite a few stamps on those others. Between the weekly prizes and the 5 grand prizes, $5,600 in Prescott dollars were distributed. So those will be spent back into participating stores. And we had around 6,000 views on the social media advertising for the passport, as well as print and radio ads. And talking to quite a few of the participating businesses and a number of the people who took part as passport participants, it seemed to be very well received. I know quite a few people have asked me if there will be a spring passport, summer passport, and people seem to really get enthusiastic about taking part in this. So it's definitely something that will definitely be repeated at some point there. Second thing I wanted to talk about tonight was Ontario by Bike. We've talked about this a few times before. I think even preceding me, I know Dana did quite a bit of work on it then. So the Ontario by Bike program, if anyone's unfamiliar, that's a province-wide program and not-for-profit to develop cycling tourism, helps cyclists better understand where they should visit, where places that are bike friendly within these locations along common bike paths are, etc. We've had quite a few businesses in Prescott that have registered as bike friendly businesses or attractions. Forwarders Antiques, I know, has Katarina's has, as of the past few weeks, Fort Wellington has joined as an attraction, which has meant that we have met the 5 businesses across 3 sectors requirement for Ontario by Bikes to become a business-friendly, bike-friendly business area. So I've been talking to Ontario by Bike this week about finalizing that process. What will happen there is that the new visitor center will become our designated cycling location for visitors, cycling visitor center as well, where we will locate some of the necessary basic repair tools in addition to the repair stations that will be going out downtown as well in the coming months. So that's, I think, a pretty exciting development. I know from sitting at the farmers market last summer, the sheer number of cyclists who travel that route come through on Highway 2 on a weekend day is phenomenal. And being able to sort of get on the radar and getting more of those people to stop should be a pretty excellent development for the downtown. So amongst the things moving forward with that, we'll be looking at the signage requirements that they have for the Ontario by Bike Trail, branding the visitor center to be additionally that Ontario by Bike location, looking at some possibilities of partnering with a local bike shop about perhaps having some limited available repair supplies there as well. In addition to just trying to get some of that marketing surrounding cycling included in our efforts, and perhaps getting more cycling focused activities going downtown, especially perhaps with the farmers market or with other activities. It's something that I'm pretty excited about. I spend a lot of time on a bike in the summer, and I think it's something that stands to have a pretty positive impact moving forward. So if anyone has any questions about those first two before I dive into the longer portion of my proceedings, I could take them now. Seeing none, I'll jump forward. So I wanted to do a little board refresher just on some of the roles and responsibilities of the board, how ideally the meetings move forward, and what role the BIA has in downtown revitalization efforts. So from a really basic background, BIAs are enabled through the Municipal Act. The Prescott BIA was established fairly early in that development in 1979, and it's governed by a town bylaw. I know that everyone received, when they first joined at the start of the term or joined on, they received a package that included the bylaw, which is a dense legal document, and along with the BIA handbook that comes from the Ontario Association of BIA. But that bylaw sort of sets out the parameters for membership, for the governance of the board, for what those roles are. BIA itself, of course, represents the businesses within the defined BIA area. And the BIA itself receives a consistent yearly funding through the BIA levy, which is assessed to the properties in that BIA area. And that's what comes through and funds your activities every year. So the levy area isn't the clearest lines on a map you'll ever see, but you see it runs from the fort, in front of the fort area to the west, up along Edward Street, basically what you would call the downtown commercial area, down to Katarina's and through the main street. That's the area that is the BIA, that's the core membership of the BIA. So the mandate directly from the bylaw is to oversee the improvement, beautification, and maintenance of municipally owned lands, buildings, and structures in the business improvement area beyond town standard levels provided at the expense of the town generally. To promote the business improvement area as a business, employment, tourist, and shopping area, and to advocate on behalf of the interests of the business improvement area as a whole. So some examples of BIA activities ongoing and in the past include the beautification efforts that I'm sure everyone's familiar with, which include the summer flowers, the additional lighting that is installed. And these are situations where the BIA is funding efforts at an additional standard to what would be funded elsewhere within the town. So it's an increased beautification effort in the downtown core. Marketing and promotion activities, efforts to promote the downtown as a whole. Partially, we did some of that with the new rack card, discussed some of that concerning radio advertising and looking to that coming forward. That includes the promotions to a degree, like the turkey trot, things that are promoting the downtown area as a business destination. Special events, which are just planning, organizing, working to put together those sorts of events that are drawing people to the BI area. And strategic planning, the idea of goal setting for the downtown, looking in the direction and sort of working towards collective goals, beautification, improvements, revitalization. So sort of to the purpose of the BIA meetings, why everyone comes to these. Partially that purpose is informational, to get the presentations from outside groups, from staff about those activities that are impacting the BI area. For example, Sean joined you 2 or 3 meetings ago to discuss the new bylaw on vacant properties. I believe Samantha joined an earlier meeting to discuss some of the community services activities. So that's sort of part off the top where delegations and presentations, that's where that informational aspect comes in. I know that Shakespeare has joined in the past in the Folk Fest. And so that's sort of to convey some information and to get everyone sort of rowing in the same direction. The second is the idea of resource allocations. You have that BIA levy of, I believe it is around $31,000 a year, where and how to allocate that BIA levy. So those are the decisions that are made in the central part of the agenda every month, where that money will be spent, how to go towards those priorities that have been set, and just the general allocation of those resources. Planning and direction to provide us with direction on these BIA-led projects. That's in that decision section as well. That's just sort of looking at, again, how everyone's rowing in the same direction and making sure we're all on the same page at the end of the day. And the last one I really wanted to highlight was the brainstorming and ideas. I know with the sort of new process that has been established, there may have been a degree to which it seems that brainstorming and idea section has been muted to a degree, but that's really what I'd like to see is to have that move to the roundtable portion towards the end of the meeting. So rather than have that in the main decision and making decisions on new things that come up that meeting, there's still that room in that roundtable portion where people should, if they have an idea, concern, that's where those things can be raised and discussed, and then moved on to the committee for a decision the next meeting. So if anyone had any questions or thoughts after that, I'd be happy to discuss.
If I can, I'll just quickly kind of chime in and add to what Justin was presenting there. It's, really just like he said at the end, the purpose is to, hopefully encourage members to come forward. We definitely don't want members to feel like their hands are tied whatsoever. And there have just been a couple of questions raised offline, I think, from members in some of our conversations about meeting format, process and procedure. And we wanted to make sure that all members were aware that they can always come forth with those new ideas and hopefully take them to a committee level for further discussion. Thanks, Justin. I appreciate that overview, as I'm sure the rest of the members do.
Yeah, it's come up in the past. A few people have asked me, well, same thing as what Dana just said. Some said, do I take it to you and tell you what my idea is, and you say it to the board? And I'm like, either or. If someone has an idea, it doesn't have to go through me or anybody. If you have an idea, just spit it out and see what happens with it. Any other questions for Justin? I see none. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate the quick little refresher. So that will move us on to C and the staff update.
Thanks, Kevin. I don't have a lot this evening, just a couple of items that I'll cover quickly. First and foremost, we did receive an email from our Digital Main Street reps, just basically asking if there was interest on the part of the municipal partners to extend the program and the funding. So it does, we're hopeful, fingers crossed, that it looks like the program may be extended beyond the end of February deadline. And also as part of that, it does look like some of the businesses that were unable to be funded by the digital transformation grant may also have an opportunity to receive funding just through some reallocation of that. So fingers crossed, hopefully you're all finding the program to be of benefit. I know we are. We're receiving some really great feedback from businesses, and I'm excited about this consultation phase that we're entering into as well. And if any of you have had an opportunity to attend our webinars, they've been really well done to date. We've got, as Elizabeth mentioned, 4 more scheduled, one being tomorrow. So definitely take the opportunity to participate if you haven't had a chance to date. One other thing I did want to mention, I'm very excited about the Council's recent adoption of our new Economic Development Strategic Plan. So that will be made publicly available very soon. I think, a couple of areas, priorities that I'm really encouraged to see, that I think the BIA will as well, because it very much ties in with your ongoing mandate, is keeping businesses top of mind and continuing the Riverwalk revival. Those are 2 key priorities that have been identified, as well as a third priority that really ties into that as well, which is attracting investment, workers, and citizens, which again is a huge supporting factor to the downtown core. I'm sure is a prime example of that would be the new 16-unit apartment building that was recently constructed, and I believe is now pretty much fully occupied. I'm sure businesses are seeing the benefits of some new residents, and there's some great work going on with some of our more heritage properties in the downtown on 3rd-story levels, some work that's being done to convert those spaces to new residential apartments. So we're really excited to see that transition, and to start actually pursuing some of the activities that have come out of these priorities that have been identified. So we'll have updates on an ongoing basis, and be sure to involve the BIA in some follow-up workshops and just ongoing initiatives that come out of this. Thanks.
Alrighty.
Oh, sorry, if I can also, I almost forgot to mention, we are going to be launching a new website this Thursday. So be sure to, same website, same URL, prescott.ca, but I believe it will go live as of Thursday afternoon. And of course, we'll have social media posts to promote that, but just mark that in your calendar and be sure to check out our new website this Thursday afternoon. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Actually, since you mentioned that, Dana, the website, I know we talked in the past about the BIA, and this was brought up in the meetings about altering ours to, I can't remember what we said, like being a microsite or something. Has that been talked about any further?
It's certainly an option that we would encourage the BIA to consider further. I think we did bring it forth just for some initial discussion a few meetings ago, and I'm not sure if there was an appetite at that point to really pursue it. We could look at 2 options, either integrating the business directory. I think first and foremost, that would be, a really good, if we wanted to look at a phased approach, I would recommend that, because just from a staffing perspective, having to maintain 2 directories, it definitely creates additional work for staff. And I think it's good to have that consistency between the BIA area and the town from a branding and theme perspective. And then, from a broader area, the BIA could consider adopting a completely new microsite that we could look at. There would be a cost to that the BIA would have to look at entertaining, and we could certainly cost that out for you if there was interest. And then that's something that would be linked directly within the new website. And as you'll see when you go there, there's a drop down that's titled Our Websites, and within that will provide links to the different websites that we have as microsites. Currently, it's going to be our Explore, which is our tourism site, Invest, economic development, our fire department, and the library. And I'm sure, I don't want to speak on behalf of Matthew or council, but I don't foresee any concerns with looking at adding a 5th microsite to that if there is interest on the part of the BIA moving forward.
Would we be able to get because I know we've discussed this in the past, and I actually thought we had discussed it to the point where we were going to do it. So I'm confused a little bit, but would we be able to get a price put down on paper and presented the next time so that we can actually move forward instead of just talking?
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to look after bringing something forward for consideration at the next meeting if that's something the board wants to endorse.
Now, are you talking a full website change as far as the BIA goes, or just a matter of being able to link it to the town's
Just like
page?
linking in, I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Because you said there was a cost to that. So just so that we have that and know what we need to decide on type deal.
So the website itself will be linked. We'll certainly be linking it in multiple places in the new site, as you'll see once it goes live. And we're definitely happy to feature that, as desired. That would be something very different than creating what would be, say, a new microsite that would actually live within the new town website. And it would also take on the same consistent theme, branding, kind of live within that same frame. And then also have the same business directory and, integration of some of those common modules. But I could definitely bring a presentation forward for the next meeting, just highlighting what those differences are.
So that would replace the website that we already have, correct?
It's the second option that I described there, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Which
you could
I
just
would-
simply carry forward with what we're doing and just linking to it where it's applicable.
I would like to entertain that. I think that that's a good idea to have a micro site that's connected to the town, because the BIA is heavily involved and connected to the town. We wouldn't, there wouldn't be a BIA without the town. So I think that it's important to have the two together. I don't know how many people visit the BIA's website all on its own anyways. Kevin, do you track any of that?
I don't know. I don't know if Justin, would you know anything about that?
No, the numbers are in the back end, but I haven't reviewed them recently.
Yeah.
They were more than I would have expected, but not as
Mhm.
significant as the town site.
And we can bring that data forward as well for some
Yep.
greater consideration too.
Tracy?
For now, is there any cost, Dana, to integrate the business directory?
Business directory would, no, like that could simply be the integrated. It would just be a matter of replacing what's on the current BIA website with what we're using on the town's website. And it's also a searchable directory. This one, the one on the BIA website, if you take a look at it, it's more of a scroll-based directory. It does have some search capacity, but I would say this one is a lot more robust, and businesses also have the opportunity to claim their listings, and they can go on and edit as they see fit, add promotions and different features, images. So it does give them a little bit more, offers them an ability to be more engaged and take a little bit more control over their own directory listings.
Who is in charge of the BIA website currently?
So town staff do manage it, but it's basically a standalone website. So when it comes to the business directory, if there's edits that need to be made, we have the one that lives on the Town of Prescott website, and then we have the one that lives on the BIA website, and the requirement to essentially maintain both of those directories. So it does become pretty cumbersome.
I was going to say it would be like a bonus to have them connected. Yeah.
And if you go to the current town business directory, you can see in there, there's already a selection you can make there for Riverwalk District, and it pulls up all the BIA businesses in one list there as like a search function. So that's on there now as well.
It just makes more sense to me to have it all in one. I don't know how the other board members feel, but that
I feel, especially
my-
since the town's doing both of them, then why not just make it the one?
yeah.
I agree, Pearl.
Is it possible for next meeting, Dana, is there any way to see like an example between, well, obviously what ours is and the example of what you got. Well, we'll see it Thursday, obviously, what the towns is going to look like, but
Yeah, and that's what I was going to suggest. Now that we're about to go live, you can, see it up close and personal, what it would look like. You can really play around with the new websites, see how it connects to the existing website, get a sense of whether you're comfortable, you're happy with that layout. And then it would give you, the information I think you need to make a more informed decision.
yeah, it seems like everyone kind of agrees it should be in one spot. I just want to see I think it's just good for us to maybe see if, to see what it physically looks like before we jump and say, okay, let's do it. Because I don't know
Yeah,
what a
and you
website will
can
cost. So
check it out in the meantime, and we can bring a bit of a presentation forward for the next meeting that would show that comparison between the two. And now that we're meeting virtually, it's easy to screen share and actually give you a little bit of a demo.
Is everybody all right with that? Just to see an example next month?
Yes.
Mhm.
Then we can just go from there and figure it all out. Okay, yeah. So we'll writing that down. Yeah, so we'll revisit that next month for sure, and however we go about doing it. But yeah, and we'll see if we want a new site or if we can just be integrated, or if there's consistency would be nice. So is there anything else on that one, Dana, or is that it?
Nope, that was it for me. Thank you.
Alrighty. There's only one other staff member here. Well, two staff members, and there's nothing else there. So we'll move to 8 agenda items for this evening. First, we'll go with A, is the election of BIA officers. Matthew, is it possible you can break that down for people a little bit? I do have a question about that. Should we even be doing it when we're missing some people?
I'd be more than happy to address that. So each director is eligible for reappointment on the expiry of their 1-year term. However, there can only be 2 consecutive 1-year terms for holding each position. So it doesn't preclude you from holding a different position, but we did postpone that election last year to hold it for 1 more year. But I would recommend going through the process and re-voting in a new set of those named positions, such as chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. Because we don't have everyone here this evening, I would recommend that we put a notice to all the board members for the next meeting, and that they perhaps highlight their intention to attain one of those positions, and that way we can include it in the agenda, as well as everyone would be aware of that happening at the next meeting.
Matthew, I was under the impression that it was only the chair that couldn't hold the position for more than the 2 years. Like someone like Tracy, that's been our treasurer for, geez, how many years now? And we really don't want to change that.
So I did go back and read it today and have it right in front of me, and it says all of those have a 2-year consecutive time limit.
Can we amend that?
Not without taking it to council to change the bylaw.
Okay. But we can still do that, right? We can take it to council. We can
Certainly, that's an option. Yeah.
Okay. So we just make a motion to take that, because I don't see any point in changing someone's position like Tracy's that's been doing it for a long time, and we would like to continue with Tracy. She's putting up her hand saying, excuse me, maybe I don't want this.
She's secretly going, I quit.
I don't want to do it again.
Well, no, just go ahead, Tracy.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, I kind of think, myself personally, I think it's a good idea to switch the roles around because it gives you different, it gives you different leadership, it gives you different ideas, it gives everybody a chance to, assume a different role. And I think it's a positive thing for any committee to, or
Mhm.
board, I guess.
I agree. I think it's a positive thing, but sometimes, in all honesty, trying to find just the two roles that I find that no one ever wants to take are the treasurer and secretary. So when you do find people in those roles that will take them, it's sometimes hard to get someone else to replace them.
Just with Pearl's question, just to add to that, Matthew, what if once we have everybody in place and nobody wants to do the positions, what happens at that point?
So the bylaw is silent on that, so you would assume that you would continue looking for that position.
Okay, so say if nobody wants to be secretary, what happens at that point?
We would continue looking for that position until we're able to fill it, unless the board wishes to waive that. However, we already did waive that stipulation once, and so it would probably have to be something that we would have to take to council for them to determine.
Okay. Oh no, I know it's come up in the past. Like, what happens when we run into that situation? So, yeah. Okay. So, Tracy.
Oh, I was just going to say, now that we have a BIA coordinator, it may be possible perhaps to combine like secretary/treasurer or something like that. Is that something, Matthew, that we would be able to do?
Yeah, it doesn't say that it can't be the same person. There are different responsibility of the treasurer and the secretary, but I think it's reasonable that you could combine those two if you so choose.
Okay.
And so maybe we should move forward, and then if we have an issue, then go back to council.
I think that would be reasonable.
So, in other words, hold off till the next meeting and then have everybody here and then go from there. Yeah. All right. That's kind of, I just thought, cause I thought too, like, I mean, with everybody not, we got what, 3 people missing tonight? 4? 3. Yeah. So if somebody did want to do something, then they're not here. So it doesn't really matter. So we will defer that to February's meeting as well. That'll take us to B. Something we did talk about last month and we deferred it to this meeting, was additional light fixtures, and that the conversation ended up really broad. I don't know, has town looked any further into lighting for downtown separate from us?
So from a funding perspective, we're still in the preliminary stages of exploring funding support for that, for the more permanent kind of year-round lighting that we had discussed at the past meeting.
Leslie, do you still have that design of the lighthouse?
Helps if I'm unmuted. Yeah, I definitely have it.
Okay, we were talking about that. So I was wondering if
Okay.
you were able to give it to Dana, I guess it would be.
Sure. Yeah, I can. It's just a drawing, so I can take a picture of it and download it and send it to Dana.
Because it for those, I don't know who wasn't here last time. I know Leslie wasn't. It started out with spending spending the rest of our money on lights to I think it got down to waiting to see about partnering with town and looking at lighting for the entire, I think it was right from Confederation Park to the Heritage Trail, was it not? I think that's what we discussed. But this something more year-round lighting. But we're gonna have to wait to hear on some numbers and that kind of stuff. I guess that's all I really have to that. Is that, you know, what kind of timeline you got on that, Dana? For trying to find out something like that?
So we'd be submitting an application. Well, as far as timeline, I would think we should hear relatively soon. Should be a quick turnaround application on the Main Street. I would think maybe 4 to 6 weeks. Just based on the last meeting, I think the decision was really to defer it for greater discussion amongst the board members. You know, maybe if you wanted to explore a potential allocation as part of your budget discussion. And then we could have some more detailed numbers to bring forward for consideration then. But I think just based on what we've done, you would be looking at about $800 per pole mount unit if you wanted to look at something more permanent throughout the downtown core, or you know, look at even that broader project that we talked about that would be more of a kind of a promenade that would take you through the downtown as well as integrate some of the waterfront Riverwalk areas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't actually make a motion on anything though, did we? Not that I can tell.
No. And I
Yeah.
know there was some discussion to maybe at one point explore the over the street banner lighting. But at that point, we would, if that was something that, you know, was desired by the BIA, there would require some additional work on the
Mhm.
town's end and costing to ensure that we have the poles that are installed for mounting that. We are looking, I think, as I mentioned at the last meeting, we're currently in the process of reviewing those intersections. So we should have some additional insights as far as what the options might be for mounting there in the near future.
Okay. Because yeah, what's Tracy, roughly how much money was left over from last year? You're muted. You're muted, Tracy. There you go.
Or, so close to 13,000, but also the Adirondack chair that we've already committed to. So you'd be looking at around 10.
Okay. Yeah, because we have if we figure out, well, we'll figure out the election thing first, because then we'll have to work on the budget right after that. But figure out what to maybe do with that, and then Leslie's drawing a picture. But again, we can defer this for a bit. Yeah, well, let's defer this until we figure out the allocation in the budget. That's probably the better thing. That's a lot of money, and if we have money, like what's that? That's going to put us at like 50 grand in the reserve, is it not? And do we really need $50,000 in the reserve? That's just a question. I don't really know. I don't know. It's money that businesses are giving us to spend on them, so it's kind of a. I'm not saying we just have to buy lights, but it's kind of a, we should be using it. But we'll fix that in the budget and see what kind of money we're looking at, and we can go from there. Anybody else have anything on this topic other than Leslie drawing a light? No, that's the case. I'm going to move right along, which takes us to the financial report, which probably is the same as the last financial report, but I'll let Tracy tell us that one. You're still muted.
Okay, Kevin, so you are right. The only change in the financial statement from last month would be the coordinator salary. So that was an additional 800 from last month. So that brings us up to the 6676. And then moving down to marketing and promotion, went a little bit over $784. And then our physical improvements, we have the $3,000 earmarked for the chair. And we also didn't spend that other $750 that we had allocated for the Riverwalk campaign, the revisiting the Riverwalk. So we didn't spend that $750 as well. So to date, the unofficial would be $12,828 as a surplus to be moved into reserves.
I forgot, what was the rediscover the Riverwalk one?
$1,500. Remember when we were after one of the COVID waves and we had the hoodies and
Oh, yeah.
spent
Okay.
$750, and then we had decided to reallocate the other $750 to help with the towns or, you know, to partner with the town in attracting tourists.
Okay. I'm with you. All right.
Motion then to that the financial report be accepted as presented.
All right. Did you just make the motion, Tracy? Okay, sorry, I missed part of that. My brain's stopped. So Tracy has made the motion. Can you get someone to second that? Seconded by Pearl. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. 10 committee roundtable. The one thing that's come up was trying to do something for Family Day / Valentine's Day. The one person who had an idea, and I don't remember the idea, isn't here tonight. Justin, do you recall what Don suggested?
So Don had suggested the idea of doing something related to Valentine's Day rather than Family Day. And it was more looking at, I believe she was looking at the idea of businesses trying to put together little packages for Valentine's Day weekend that couples could take part in as one of the larger spending holidays, I suppose you'd want to say. So that was something she had mentioned. It wasn't really, I don't think she really had a firm plan there, but just more the idea of centering that around Valentine's Day rather than Family Day.
Tracy?
Just wondering if somehow, oh, am I muted? No.
Nope.
Just wondering if we could somehow tie in the whole Valentine's Day promotion with our restaurants that have had to close again, and somehow bring the restaurants into a promotion.
To chime in here, I know we talked about, I think we had a follow-up conversation. It might have been at Quality Creations, but I'm not sure if it was with you, Jeannie, or one of your vendors. We were also talking about the idea of maybe a dual, maybe some sort of a passport program or a scavenger hunt that would be, one geared to, say, Valentine's couples, and then another one geared to the Family Day, and kind of building on what Tracy had said, could we look at, as part of those grand prizes, give away like a bit of an experience package that would give people their choice of maybe dining out at one of Prescott's restaurants and participating in a couple of other activities, maybe a spa service from one of our local providers, maybe a shopping token or gift certificate from one of our great retailers. Just kind of a combination of things that we could include in that package above and beyond just, say, the traditional Prescott Proud dollars.
Yeah, I think it's really important that we realize that there's still small businesses, greatly affected by COVID. So anything we can do to support them, I think would be great.
I think we also chatted about ways of tying it into some of the family day activities that are actually taking place on Family Day. Maybe that could be one of the passports that you get stamped. We could do like as part of the family package that gets drawn. Obviously, the couples package would have to be drawn before Valentine's Day, but we could maybe look at something for the Family Day package that incorporates getting your passport stamped and, participating in the town events as well as shopping at local businesses.
I believe it was with one of the other vendors concerning Valentine's and Family Day. I know you and I talked about Easter.
Oh, yes, and Easter too. Yeah, there was some great discussion about an Easter one, which could, be something that we could look at for the spring. Yeah, I don't know, maybe it's something the events or promotions committee wants to discuss. Possibly hold a meeting within the next couple of weeks before we get too close to Family Day.
Yeah, well, to be honest, after the last meeting, I was hoping to put one together before this meeting, but of course, Christmas and everything kind of got busy and hectic and in the way for doing meetings. But maybe put it to the promotions group, and maybe we can even via Zoom or something for next week, because we don't really have a lot of time, especially for Valentine's Day. So the ideas are good though.
And
But I
just
do
from
like-
a town perspective, I would say, sorry to cut you off there, Kevin.
Oh no, that's right.
I would think we would definitely have some sort of ability to allocate a budget, maybe do something in partnership with the BIAs. We generally tend to do.
Yeah, I like Matthew.
I'm just wondering from a board perspective, if you want to move this evening a certain dollar amount that you'd want to put towards it. You don't have to flush out the details this evening, but
Yep.
If you just decide on the dollar amount, then let the promotion or events committee determine the actual layout of it, and then you'd be good to go.
Yeah, that sounds good. How much money do you think we could throw out at it? And we're not buying diamond rings for people.
I was just thinking, even in mind with the Valentine's and restaurants, because they are super suffering with what's going on. What about if we had a special, gift certificate that we handed out for dessert at our local restaurants, and have the, have the restaurants kind of give them a high, a heads up, but something like that. I don't know. I was trying to think of something that, could support restaurants somehow.
Something else we did in the past, just to maybe help those restaurants that, may not have gift certificates. I think I actually just saw a post from Bobby saying they now offer gift certificates. But in the past, I think it was actually for a chamber dinner, we did kind of like a custom designed dollar that was available to use. I think it was just at the Walkhouse for that day. And we incorporated their branding within it so that anyone that participated in that chamber event could spend them. And there was even a time limit on there. We wouldn't necessarily have to do that, but that could actually limit, say, these special dollars to have to be spent at a local restaurant only, and actually list those restaurants or participating businesses that they could be spent at, just to maybe to accommodate any that don't have gift certificates. Again, it may be an issue that's not even there. Everyone could have them, but just an afterthought.
Nicole?
Yeah. So Dana, are you saying like Prescott dollars almost, but spent towards restaurants?
Yeah, they were special, and right on the dollars themselves, there was a bit of a note that stated, could only be spent at Walkhouse, and it included their logo on them. It would be
Mhm.
really easy to design something special, even just for the Valentine's Day restaurants.
Yeah, I was wondering because if we reach out to restaurants as well who want to participate, if they can do something where it's catered for like Valentine's or couples or family days. Like let's say there's a whole, let's say Bobby's, Ohifi's, a number of restaurants are participating, and make a whole like Facebook layout of the different restaurants that are participating, and let's say get 2 dinners, maybe wine. I'm not sure how it works now, and dessert for this price, and it's for the weekend. And if you still want to do the dollars specifically for them, then it's like a package that families or Valentines can order, but it's already laid out, because a lot of people just want convenience, and they may have the dollars, but they say I don't know what to order, or I'm not sure. But if the restaurants themselves also kind of push that, hey, we have this special for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday's Valentine's, and family days Monday too, so they would have the Friday, Saturday, Sunday to push these specials. Or it's easy for people to see and just pick up the phone and say, hey, I want your special, and it helps. But I'm also thinking like not just even restaurants, but even other retailers that maybe they have something that they think can cater to Valentine's or Family Day and make a bundle out of it. And maybe if people participate in that specific event, maybe they can have a raffle entry, like let's say towards the end of the week for like Monday, then there's a raffle entry for like a Valentine's special where you can get some sort of bundle from the businesses. So you're not only supporting the business, but also you're gonna maybe enter a prize raffle or something like that. I'm just kind of brainstorming of, if I saw something, what would make me support the businesses? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I love that idea. It was, and I'm trying to think of where, I think it was back in the summer, another kind of a BIA area did, I think it was like a picnic, kind of a boxed lunch where
Yeah.
they kind of went out and promoted it and did all the behind the scenes coordination, got the different restaurants and businesses coordinated, and did the branding around those packages. And I think created basically options. So, maybe that's something that we could do, go around, coordinate these packages, create one for, or a couple, one for Family Day, one for Valentine's Day. And then, like you say, Nicole, as part of that, anyone who purchased one of the packages could be entered into a raffle or a draw
At the end on the Monday.
Prescott Proud dollars. Yeah.
I'm not even sure if I'm thinking out of the box and more, but like, let's say we can coordinate with the taxi services, because I know a lot of taxi services do the delivery thing now. And if it's it might be too much, but if it's something where get like order from Bobby's or order from Katarina's or something like that, where you can get it delivered on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and still support local. But that's just extra. It's more so just to help with the restaurants and whoever's doing any of the packages for that day.
Yeah, I personally love that. I would
just some
definitely
thoughts
look at that maybe when you get together for your committee meeting. And that could be one of the big, personally, that's where I would go with it. I love that idea. It would definitely, create a little bit. I think we've got some good businesses around the table here who would be willing participants already. So.
Alrighty. Well, let's no, there's great ideas in there. Let's get the events committee. I think actually Belinda's not, because I believe promotions committee. That's you, Tracy, right? Your promotions. Yeah. Couldn't remember who was who. Jeannie's on the other one, the events.
Yeah.
So we can meet maybe this week. Dana, do you want to actually be part of that? Just because you probably just retained some of Nicole's stuff. I'll adjust it, of course. Just that way we have that memory. I did write it down, but yeah. So if we can maybe meet this week, probably Zoom is. Well, I guess we kind of have to do Zoom right now, but if we figure something out, we put something together pretty quickly. I like it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can go on as well if I'm invited and if I'm free that night, like I could just pop in and kind of brainstorm if it helps.
The best thing you can do is you can send me brainstorms, because we can't have more people at the meeting than
Okay. Yeah, I could do that.
Not shut you out. Just if you send out suggestions. You can send them to me or Justin or both, or Dana, all of us. Tracy, you want to say something?
Oh, yeah, no, I was just gonna say that we should allocate that dollar amount, but
Oh, yes,
I did
thank you.
I did have one question though. So Dana, if the town partnered with the BIA, then would it be open to all restaurants in the town?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
good. I just wanted to, before our meeting, get all of that cleared up. So that's good. Perfect. So
And-
what kind of money do you think, guys?
Well, if you're gonna are we talking like if town gets involved, we're gonna include every restaurant? How I'm just trying to put a dollar amount to that.
Is that
So I
we're
think
paying
if
for
we
the
do this-
package dinners? Is that the thought?
So if you went that route and we coordinated those packages, those experience packages, I think it would essentially just be allocating a certain amount to the grand prize, right?
Yeah.
Which would certainly simplify it for BIA purposes.
Oh, how many restaurants we have in town total?
A bunch.
Nice.
Just opening up my business
And I'm
directory now, I
assuming we're
wouldn't
not
want to
off.
miss any. But I
I'm
would
just
say off
assuming
the
we're
top
not.
of my head, we've got about 10.
I'm assuming we're not offering a romantic dinner at McDonald's.
Yeah, so that depends, these are what I would say would be more like your dine in versus your fast food establishments that it'd be geared towards.
Well, I don't know.
Who am I to say what's a romantic night out? So, I don't know. To each
I
his
would
own.
say, yeah, if we're partnering with the town, I would say at least $500. I don't know what you guys think.
I'm just trying to envision how we're doing it. And yeah. Okay.
So is the money like allocating towards the prize, or is the town like sponsoring the dinners, or how?
So I think it would be more what you were suggesting, Nicole. If we went that route, it would be more, we put the work into coordinating those the experiences for people to purchase, and then we sponsor the actual prize that would that they would be entered into if they do so choose to purchase one of the experiences. And maybe the
Yes, so-
town could essentially match what the BIA is doing, probably look at 2 grand prizes, one for the family day, one for Valentine's. So maybe, a $500 prize per package.
So it's like people have to participate in the purchase or the experience to be entered.
To be
In
entered
the
into the
grant,
grand
yeah.
prize draw.
Yeah. That
Mhm.
actually, because that pushes you to try to support a business while trying to win something. Yeah.
And I'm just thinking like, 'cause we want all the businesses to hopefully benefit from it, and like, yes, restaurants, but would retail and everything like that be able to, put something together? I don't know. We want everyone to be included. if they want to be. So I think it's still open to if they have a package for 2 or family, maybe they want to be included too. But
Yeah, and I think that's maybe where the committee could start to flush that out, but I think the intent would be to open it up to not just restaurants, but to some of the other businesses that would be relevant, right? Like maybe some of the spas, you know, other kind of gift store, Cardinal Flowers maybe for the Valentine's Day themed experience, and then maybe some other businesses that would be more relevant to your family day type of experiences. Again, just off the top of my head, this is your promotion.
Mhm. Okay, well, I think we're probably sound with the $500 if everybody's kosher with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, anybody care to make a motion then?
I'll make it.
Thank you.
I'll second.
So to allocate $500 for a family day promotion. Yes.
Family
So,
day plus Valentine Day.
yeah. So Pearl's made the motion. Who seconded that?
Leslie.
Leslie,
Leslie did. Oh, Leslie's a smiley face now. Alrighty.
I'm like,
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is
Aye.
carried. All right. We will meet like ASAP. We'll find a date for next week. Any other new business? Any thoughts? Any ideas? Anybody got anything they want to talk about? Weather? Blue Jays? None? All right, I see nothing. If that is the case, if someone would care to make the motion to adjourn this evening's meeting. Motion is made by
I
Tracy.
motion
Second,
to
sorry, Tracy got you. Motion made by Tracy. Seconded by?
I will.
Seconded by Jeannie. Alrighty, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good month. We'll see you next month and all that fun jazz.